Hello. Today in this video, we'll be talking about the Sandman Season 2. And for people who do not know what the Sandman is a show that follows seven beings known as the Endless, which are from left to right: delirium, death, destruction, dream, destiny, desire, and despair. And specifically, the Sandman follows Dream, who is also the titular Sandman, also known as Morpheus. Roderick Bugres, who not only manages to summon Dream, as seen here, but they also eventually manage to also imprison him with the help of a person known as the Corinthian, who is one of Dream's creations, a nightmare. Dream is imprisoned for 100 years as a result of the Corinthians' aid to Roderick Bugre. And the majority of season one follows Dream's path in regaining his objects of power, as well as capturing the Corinthian and other beings that escaped from his realm, which is known as the dreaming, which this is the dream what you can see here. This is the result of the dreaming after Morpheus was away from it for 100 years. And the first, like I said, the first half of the season follows Dream reclaiming his objects of power from various places, such as from a psychotic person, reclaiming it by tracking it down, as well as having to go travel down to hell itself to reclaim it from a demon. The second half of season one also can one of his siblings, specifically the sibling in red, Desire, who swore to make Dream spill family blood, specifically by having Morpheus kill Rose Walker, who at the time, which he was unaware of, is actually his niece. And this is because Rose Walker is a dream vortex who, if left unchecked, could have potentially destroyed the dreaming, if not for Morpheus's quick intervention, as well as him finding an optimal way to prevent the dreaming's destruction whilst ensuring Rose Walker's survival. The second half of the season two follows two plots. Plot number one is tracking down the sibling in the orange denim jacket, which is known as Destruction. This is because Delirium, the sibling with the butterflies around her, wanted to find Destruction. And this is because Destruction, at some point in time, decided to abandon his duties and his divine realm, leaving it unchecked and wild. Eventually, they manage to track down Destruction, and this is through the help of Morpheus' estranged, who is Orpheus. As we can see here, this is Orpheus and his then wife, who unfortunately later on died on the same day as their wedding from a snake bite. This left Morpheus so distraught that he managed to track down his aunt, who was Death, who gave him immortality. Then Orpheus went down to the underworld, similar to the myth that we all know of Orpheus traveling down to the underworld, singing a song so sorrowful it moved the hearts of Hades and Persephone, and they agreed to return his wife's soul on the condition that he does not look back once he as he guides her out. This, however, Morph- unfortunately, Orpheus, having doubts, was not able to fulfill that promise, as just when he was on the edge of bringing her back out of the underworld, he looked back, and his wife was returned to the underworld forever. However, Morpheus, being unable to die, was not able to rejoin her. So eventually, he wandered around the world and encountered the Maniads, which are the mad followers of Dionysus, who tore apart his, leaving him as this, nothing but a head. So eventually, Delirium and Dream managed to track down Orpheus's head. And unfortunately, the price is that in order to get information from Orpheus, one needs to grant him a wish. Orpheus asks his father to kill him in return for telling him where destruction is. The reason why this is unfortunate is because the Endless have a law which forbids them from spilling family blood. So, in the end, Morpheus decides to go through with Orpheus's wish and kills him once he gets the information of where their brother Destruction is. Now, this has unforeseen consequences. This winds up sending the Kindly Ones, otherwise known as the Fates, after Morpheus. This is in order to exact the price of Morpheus's actions, which is his death. Now, some of you are probably going to wonder, if the Endless are a group of abstract concepts, then how can they die? Now this is similar to Doctor Who, where as we know, one doctor dies. As that doctor dies, the essence of the doctor is transferred to a new body, a new person. As we can see here, where the 11th doctor regenerates. This is what happened to as once Morpheus died, as we can see here, this is Daniel Hall, a baby that Morpheus designated as his heir. Now once Morpheus died, he was reborn, and the essence of Dream passed into Daniel Hall, turning him into the new Dream. This is actually not the first time when Endless has died. As the despair we see here, the the fat lady in a bathrobe is actually the second despair. The first despair is briefly mentioned in her eulogy, where she says that there was another despair before her, but both in the show and the comics, it's never explained what happened to her or why she was killed. When Morpheus, the current iteration of Dream, is killed, and he chooses to die in order to save his realm, dreaming. As can be seen here, the Fate's presence is completely destroying his realm and the people within it. So, in order to save his realm, he decides to die. And he does this by accepting death's hand, which is, in a way, symbolic of the Fates killing him off screen. After his death, as we can see, all of his siblings, as shown with Delirium, are aware of his death, as the gargoyle that Dream created has disappeared, which signifies that Dream himself has passed away at that very moment. His corpse is later collected and placed in an open casket of sorts, where everyone who's met him comes forward to give, specifically his siblings, come forward to give a eulogy. Most interestingly, Desire, even though they swore to make Dream spill family blood, which they must have surely known would have ended in Dream's death due to the ancient laws that govern the Endless, was strangely saddened at the death of Dream. Daniel Hall, New Dream, during Morpheus' funeral, initially sets out to go and try to recreate things exactly as Morpheus did. But after speaking to one of the Morpheus' creations, Fiddler's Green, as well as his brother Destruction, he decides to attempt to do things differently. As he's already shown, even though he's not been Dream for long, he already showed traits of being different to Dream. For example, Dream was more closed off and never really opened up to any of his siblings aside from death. Yet, this current iteration of Dream, Daniel Hall, is already opening himself up to advice from others.